This video is all about forms at higher. So build on what we learned from National 5, takes to that next level of difficulty really. And this is a task from the old South Lanarkshire booklets based upon using a database that's already there to build and create a query. So it's not a query, build a form. It takes into a lot more detail than from National 5. So in the video, I'll be going between the database and the booklet to try and emphasize what I'm going to do. The first thing we're asked to do is to use the form wizard to create a form that has customer ID, customer name, resort, and name of accommodation. So back to our database, create form wizard, and we need to have, just to double check, customer ID, name, resort, and accommodation. Customer ID, name, resort, and accommodation. Next, we have to use this layout here, and we are asked to call the form I believe it's going to be called Holidays in Spain. So Holidays in Spain. As I said before, very important to give your files reasonable names you can find when you search, otherwise it will be a bit of a nightmare for you. Holidays in Spain. Then finish. And again, you get your normal bog standard form. So looking at it here, as we can see, basically a basic form, everything's visible apart from the data in the form is truncated. So what I'm going to do is work through the instructions on the task and just edit things as I go. Now, first of all, we have to insert a header or footer onto the form. So open the form Holidays in Spain. I'm going to go to our form view, sorry, not our form view, our design view. So there we go, view and design view. Takes us back to what we have on our page. Still want us to here, increase the space allocated to the header. So really simple, you hover between both lines, you get this double-sided arrow, you left click and hold down and drag it down, not too far, just enough to give you a bit more space. Now we're to add a new label. For us, it's in a different place compared to this version of Access, and we're going to draw in a new label and add in the heading Mallorcan Holidays. So our label tool is here. We're going to left click down, drag out a text box like so, and then we'll write in our answer, or not our answer, our header. So we can remember how to spell Mallorcan. There we go, Mallorcan Holidays. And if you click off that, the white background should go away. Next, use the same steps to insert a form footer for bigger travel. Now we don't really have a space set up for form footer yet. We just left click down, drag out a little bit, go to our label, insert, and there we go. And this one has to be bigger travel. Bigger travel agent, my mistake. Not finished yet. Now where are we? And next we're going to extend it and allow a bit more space for our headers and footers. So let's right click anywhere really, and you want to add a page header and a page footer like so. Just it allows a bit more detail to be added to your form to make it a bit more user friendly. And we're going to add a couple of things to it. We're going to add a reference and a number, then our own initials. Now that'll be for the benefit of when you're saving something. and your own name to a footer. So let's quickly go back to our form and add that. So there you have, just drawing the labels and then keying in our information. So back to our view and our form view. And again, a point I emphasised earlier is that data is not all visible. It's a bit truncated here with our name of accommodation. So that's something you won't necessarily be told to fix, but it's something you have to know how to fix. So form view, design view, sorry, pardon me. First off, in our instructions, we're asked to extend the width of our page. And it does give us an exact specification of how far we have to increase it. Increase the size of the page to 14. So left click here and drag out. In the instruction it said that if it's increased to more than 14, then it won't print on the one page. So that's something to be mindful of. Now, first of all, we have to select all the data, all the fields in the detail section, like so. Now we've highlighted our data. What we're going to try and do is to increase the width of our columns to try and make it, not columns, our fields, to make it easier to see the information. Now, this is something that can be a little bit footery and a little bit difficult to do. For now, if you try and increase one of them, it sort of moves them all, and that's not what you want to do. Let's click off a second. Let's click onto accommodation. So that's only one highlighted. Increase the width of it. Now, if you highlight them all again, and we're clicked on arrange, if you click on stacked, that should improve the layout of them. That should make sure all the data is all visible and extends that to just the end of the width of the page. So let's go to home, view, and form view again, and everything is clearly visible, which is great. And in this instance, looking at the size of it in our form view, there's quite a gap there, so if you wanted to, you could decrease the width of a couple of them here, and they should all decrease at the same size at the same time, so you have consistency in your approach. Now the next part, opening the holiday Spain form design view, click on the header label and hold shift key on the page header and labeling footer. Now this is just selecting a number of different things at once. So for instance, you could go to view and design view. What it's trying to tell you to do is to select headings at the one time. And then it's asking us to change the size 16 and make the font color pink. So just like in Access, you'll have your format, it has to be size 16, the font has to be pink, or as close to it as you possibly can get it. And again, just make sure everything is visible. And the same down the bottom. I just realised that my page header has gone missing. So we'll just put that back in. Now the same for here. No idea where that went to. And just to be consistent, we'll apply the same formatting to these cells. So format, pink, and we want size 16, and it should be Comic Sans. So I'll just make sure that these are also in Comic Sans. If it tells you you have to use a specific font, then you do have to use a specific font, so be careful with that and avoid making mistakes by not using the correct font. And you're also given the option to, if you wish, fill background colour. It's just a little skill, it might come in handy. Just select them all and flash fill with black might stand out with the pink. Now next, we're down here and click anywhere to these labels, we've done that. Select the labels and field boxes in the details section using the same method. So that is like so. That is them all selected and linked. So they want a solid red border and thickness round the outside. So to do that, we go to our design area. We want shape outline. We want a line thickness. This is a thick border, and they wish it to be red, like so. So if you go back and just check this out on our form, you see we've got a thick red border, things are starting to stand out and take a bit of shape. And what we're asked to do next isn't really cosmetic. We're asked to add a new field to the form. So we're going to add a field from a database that already exists. So we have to increase our rate to make a bit more space. We have to click up here to add existing fields. And the one we want to add is, let's just double check, is board. So there we have it. We click on the field we want to add, which is board, double click on it, and you get a label and a text box all sorted. Now that's the information imported, so anything you've got input from your database should now appear in the form. Now let's just double check if there's anything we have to do to it. Okay. First of all, we just change the name from board to type of board. Make sure you're consistent in your capitalization. And leave board as it is. Then we're just being consistent in our use of formatting. So your format, your outline, red, and our thickness, I believe was about there. So let's just look at our view, and there we go, it's all taking shape. Now next, we have to insert a new field. Now this field is not yet part of our database. So we go back to the, come out the form, go to the database, go to design view, and add method of travel. And that'll be a text field. Right. I'm going to pause now and come back once it's all been filled in. There's no point in you seeing me like keying anything in. Okay, I was getting ahead of myself there. I'm not going to key anything in here. We're just going to close the database with the method of travel left blank, and we'll populate it via the form. So we save, go back to our holidays in Spain, form, we look at our design view, we've got enough space. Now this is when we start to increase, or start to add in a form. Click on our text box this time, click on our text box, we draw out, and this will allow two to appear. You'll have an unbound, and you'll have one that's called text something, text 42, text 18. It depends entirely upon how many text boxes you have. And this is where we make a link. This is where we make a link between this field and what's in the database. So right click in here, go to properties. We're going to take out in the format tab text 46, and we'll call this transport. Being consistent with capitalization. Now the reason one is unbound is because it is not yet linked to anything in the form. To make a link to the unbound box, we click on unbound, and if your property sheet is still open, and control source make that method of travel.